1, 2, 3.
Greetings! Hello and welcome. You may call me Egg. A little bit about myself. I am someone who has grown up on video games. Some of my earliest core memories are of sitting around the PS1 as a family, each taking turns trying to beat levels on Crash Bandicoot. Video games have always been, and likely always will be, my favourite hobby and pastime. And it was during my cringy Xbox obsessed teen phase I would unknowingly stumble across this masterpiece. The Soulsborne Kiro Ring series is, to me, without a doubt some of the best media I've ever consumed. However, I didn't always think so highly of it. My first journey into Lordran ended where, likely many did at the time, getting stomped repeatedly by the Taurus demon.
Gorgeous!
At the time, I thought, this game's too hard, this game's dumb, there's no story, I'm gonna go play COD. So, fast forward a couple years down the line, Dark Souls 2 came out, and
what the fuck is this piece of shit?
it wasn't what I was looking for. So, fresh off the grenade warning indicator giving me PTSD,
Throw it back!
I decided it was time to challenge myself again and revisit the first game. It took me a while, but eventually I beat the Taurus demon, rang the bells of awakening, retrieved the Lord Vessel, and rekindled the first flame. Finally beating my first FromSoft game, consequently, came with a new addiction, which can be summarised in 2 words. For the uninitiated, get good is a term colloquially used in the Souls community as a way of saying, stop crying, keep trying. Getting good is something that once experienced can really cling to you, and it has well and truly changed the way I approach new games. The GOAT, Miyazaki, no, not that one, yes, this Giga Chad, wanted to create a game that didn't hold your hand and provided a challenge that was difficult but fair, giving a real sense of accomplishment when you overcame major hurdles. I can still remember to this day the feeling I got when I finally beat the Nameless King for the first time.
I'm afraid it's been 9 years.
It took me over 3 hours and more than 40 attempts, but I persevered, stayed patient, and eventually beat the hardest challenge Dark Souls 3 had to offer at the time. And I've chased that feeling ever since. Over the past few years, I've gone back and 100%ed most of the FromSoft games, and like a crackhead fiending for another hit, I wanted more. Almost every time I start playing a new game, I crank up the difficulty as high as it will, always seeking that next great challenge. This isn't a given, by the way, I'm not a complete sadist. Sometimes I like to just sit on a farm or enjoy a power fantasy for what it is. Fun.
You need to know what I'm still standing. You just fade away. Don't you know I'm still standing? Better than I ever did. Looking at the turn, feeling like a dead.
During the summer last year, I began reading through the manga that inspired Dark Souls, Kentaro Miura's Berserk.
Berserk, Volume 1, Chapter 1. Just finished reading it, and I have to say, holy hell, This shit was awesome. And I started to tear up, and I had to put this fucker down.
Berserk is a dark fantasy epic that follows the life and journey of a man named Guts. It's a tale of love and revenge, filled with grueling high-stakes battles and in-depth conversations with some well-developed and written characters. The influences on Miyazaki's games are immediately noticeable. Andre Ristora was clearly inspired by Godot, the Old Blacksmith, Taurus Demon in Zod, Artorias in Guts. It's not even exclusive to Dark Souls, there are many examples to be found throughout the series. My other key takeaway from these books was Guts' struggle to find meaning. Even while enveloped in the flame of Griffith's dream, he still sees himself as an outsider with no clear dream of his own, which to an extent can be quite relatable. I've spent almost 26 years on this planet and still have no clue what I'm doing with myself.
Oh no! Anyway.
Later in the story, after finding some semblance of meaning through his skills as a swordsman and undergoing the horrific events of the eclipse, Guts is marked with the brand of sacrifice, turning every night into a battle for survival against unimaginable horrors. And despite how tired or broken his body is, he always rises to the occasion to overcome new challenges. This man's indomitable will to live really inspired me to get my shit together. I quit weed and cigarettes, got back in shape, and learned how to be a more positive and grateful person. Around the same time, I also started going bouldering, or indoor rock climbing, with some friends. After spending a couple of weeks learning the ropes, I began projecting my first difficult climb. I was making good progress initially, but got stuck on the last move, as you had to fall into it. It was really weird. So I took that mindset from Dark Souls and threw myself at the wall over and over again until I got over my fear of falling. And just like the Nameless King, it took me multiple hours, dozens of attempts, but the feeling of accomplishment when I finally nailed it was worth every torn callus and every aching joint. So, if you've made it this far, and you're wondering, what was bro yapping about? Well, I wanted to make this video as a sort of metaphorical bonfire in the dejected void known as the internet, and to tell you that no matter how difficult of an obstacle you may face, so long as you keep struggling and keep trying, surely with time and improvement, you can overcome it. It's not about being perfect, but making small improvements each day. In a world full of people trying to be as divisive and controversial as possible,
America deserved 9/11, dude.
try to be more like Matsuo Kashuzo.
絶対やってみろ。必ず目標達成できる。だからこそ Never give up!
Real quick, just thank you all for watching and shout out to my boy Kizo.